Hi, I'm Chandra Veju. I represent the Red Rose Foundation Inc. And I have with me here today Courtney Wheel. So Courtney, you told me that you were in a domestic violence situation for 2 years and it was like the longest time in your life.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it.
I was 18 years old. I was in pre-med. I was in college. My life was in front of me. It was the beginning of everything I had dreamed of my entire life. And then I met someone who came like Prince Charming, wanted to love me and show me the world and cared so much about me, and very quickly turned that into a manipulation. And it went from something that seemed magical to a nightmare very, very quickly. And it was 2.5 years, and during which time I had two beautiful little children. And it was the longest, hardest, most difficult period of my life. And it still feels like it was longer than any other time frame in my life, which is kind of interesting, huh?
Right. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the Red Rose Foundation because this foundation is being formed in a way that it will house women with their children for at least a year or more as needed. What do you think about that?
I think it's fantastic because the problem with domestic violence is it's so encompassing. It takes over your entire life. It doesn't start physical, it starts often mental, and you're broken down and you're made to feel small and you're made to feel that you can't do anything for yourself, that you are completely dependent upon this other person. And then physical, sexual, emotional, but then very much financial control of your entire situation. So here you are finding yourself waking up, not realizing what's happened, and now you're trapped and you have nowhere to go, you have no way to get out. You don't begin to know how you can survive and how you can escape.
Right.
So something with an extended period of time, a safe haven, a
Right.
place that would let women know they don't have to live that way. There is an
Right.
option, a choice.
Right. Well, I know that, and I'm not going to mention time frames or anything because we know we're not going to speak about that. A lot of women don't leave because they feel that they don't have the sufficiency of time and a long enough period of time then to say it like that where they can go and build themselves again. So that is the biggest reason why women go back, and it's why it's said that over 85% of women go back. So again, that come back to financial.
Right. And I know statistically women leave up to 7 times and go back before the 7th time they either finally leave for good or are killed,
Yes.
which that statistic is startling.
Yes.
And I think what you find is even if she finds the courage to get out
Mhm.
without support, without a place, without the help, both financially and emotionally and mentally, so she can rebuild herself. So if she doesn't rebuild, those patterns and those habits have been built in. And so if she has nothing, she gets out. She's so excited. She's going to be free. She's going to have her life back. But now she doesn't have the equipment mentally. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have the tools to survive. What options does she have? And there's this person who had controlled her, promising the world, and she doesn't know what to do. She feels helpless. So I found a place where you can get help. And then the first step is safe.
Yeah.
To get physical help, to get your wounds healed. But then begins the challenge of mending yourself, your heart, your strength, being able to stand on your feet, find your confidence again, find your voice. Women
Right.
lose their voice, they
Yes.
lose their confidence, they forget how to stand up. They can't even look you in the eye often.
No.
They can't look at themselves in the mirror
No.
because they lost themselves. And so a few days, a month or 2 months, it's the little tip of the iceberg. It's only the beginning. Without time to mend and to really heal, and that a year, up to a year, that's a place to go from, as
Right.
opposed to, okay, good luck.
Yeah. Well, I've been told personally, I've heard, well, a few people has told me such a vicious cycle that women go back because they like it or it's what they're accustomed to. And I also know personally, in research and everything else as well, that it's not because they like it, it's because they really don't have a place to go. Because no woman wants to go on the street with her kids who's lived in a house.
You were saying alcoholism
Right.
and
A lot of people associate domestic violence with alcohol and drug abuse, and it's just not true.
no, I think what happens, there's confusion because
Yes.
this epidemic of domestic violence strikes young and old. It strikes every social class. It doesn't matter whether you have a lot of money or you have no money. And would a woman in a situation possibly turn to alcohol? That could very well happen because she's in so much pain. But it's not an alcoholic who gets in the situation or a drug addict who gets in the situation. And saying that it's what they're accustomed to, I will tell you, there are the abusers are very smart and they're very similar, the tactics. And one of the tactics is to beat the woman and then take her to bed, to make love to her, to apologize to her, and train her that it's rewarding behavior. Now, a woman I don't care who you are, how strong you are at the beginning, when you are broken down, when I used to be told to stand at attention, I couldn't lean on the wall, I was pregnant, I had worked all day, 12-hour double shift waiting tables, he wouldn't work, I had to bring the money home, take care of the family, and my legs would be swollen, and he would have me stand, and he would lecture me. And then I had to repeat what he had said.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Or maybe saying that you deserved it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You hear that. She did something. And I would be scolded and he would start again if I couldn't repeat his words verbatim. And so here is this mental and physical and psychological torture that breaks you to the point that you feel you have no options. So you take a woman who, I don't care how strong she was, enough abuse, enough torture, you can break any human spirit and it has to rebuild. And so to say that it was deserved or she liked it or it's what she knows, it is what she knew, but you give her a chance. What you're saying, what your program is offering is an opportunity for healing from the inside out and the outside in,
Right.
and it's so important because women they're damaged.
Yeah.
They're when they come out.
And even in a lot of times you see like women, they're damaged. It's like forever. There are certain things that they will always be damaged about. But then also you see some women is still in the torture. They live in it for a long time, 5 years, 10 years. They're financially struggling. So the purpose, so I want to inform, which is, who's watching as well, that Red Rose Foundation is here to provide a stay where they can stay for at least up to a year or more is needed with their kids, where they can have a safe place, where they can recuperate physically, emotionally, most important, so they can go back to school. So they can have daycare at this place. They can have people come in and different facilitators then to do different things with them so that when they leave, this is our goal then, that the recipient will not need your help or my help after, that they will come out and be somebody in society, that they will be strong. And another important part of it is that how do you end the cycle of domestic violence? So helping a mom, if you help the mom, and a lot of people don't want to help the mom because, she's a grown-up, she can do this, but the strength is not there. So if we help the mom, we can help the kids because it's repeated. What is your...
Right. Well, I want to say something about what you were talking about with the goal and then talk about the kids. But when you are a mother and you're coming out of this situation, a lot of times the strength that you find is in your little ones. It's the strength for them. But it becomes instinctual. It's all you want to do is protect them.
Yes.
You're not even thinking about yourself. You're thinking about them. Mm-hmm. So to be in a situation, in a place that it has a safe haven, has the daycare system in place so that they don't have to go off-site, go somewhere else where maybe he may be waiting or watching, but there's a secure location and then there's safety. As soon as you feel your family is safe, it will allow her to begin to heal. And that is so valuable. And then the tools that you were talking about and the resources and bringing in coaching and helping to develop her self-esteem back again. Those things will enable her to stand up, to re-heal. But without those, to simply say, I'm going to give her a place to stay for a little bit and now she's out, it's not enough. But what you're offering is, it's like the whole. It's not just pieces.
Complete healing.
And that is where the success rate. That's where you're going to make that change. And then breaking the cycle, I think that there's nothing more valuable that a mother can do than model for her children how to be treated and what's okay and what's not okay. And it doesn't mean we don't make mistakes. If you end up in a bad situation, every one of us in our life will end up in a situation of some sort, not necessarily domestic violence, but something. And when we get to that crossroad, it's what choice do you make? How do you react? What do you do? So when a mother has been in a situation of domestic violence, but she chooses to come out of it, she's showing her children that there was a bad situation, but we made a change. And it makes her stronger and being victors, not victims.
Exactly.
And that is what she's teaching her children.
Right.
Yeah.
So we want guide that way for them so that they can come out in society. They don't have to be on welfare. We don't want to produce people that comes out and they have to be on welfare. They have to think, oh my God, what am I going to do for my next meal? Where am I going to stay?
Right.
What mostly happens, they go back. So
they go back because they won't put their children on the street.
Nope.
It goes back to
Exactly.
the children.
Yep.
And that's where this safety and where,
Yes.
and to give a woman something to be proud of herself.
Yes.
When I was coming out of the situation, and I sat in a group therapy situation, there were women sitting together and we were talking, and I heard one woman say what her abuser said, and it was the same words that this abuser said, same words that my abuser said, and I said, I didn't deserve this. I didn't do anything. This whatever happened is happening to these other women. And that night, I said, I will give back. I will find a way. And so I choose now, being 26 years out of a domestic violence situation, I speak, but not just do I speak, but you talk about breaking the cycle. All three of my children, one whose father was not an abuser, speak. They speak to teens. They speak to college kids. But they stand up and they do things to help, and they do things to bring awareness. My son says it's not just domestic violence, but it starts in middle school and high school, and bullying and mistreating. And he said it was beautiful. He said, if you walk by two children, a boyfriend and girlfriend in the hallway in school, and they're arguing, and the boyfriend is being inappropriate, he said, when I walk by and I don't say anything or do anything, I told him his behavior is okay, and I told her she didn't deserve anyone to help her. And he said, we can't be quiet. And so you talk about breaking the cycle and teaching these young people to stand up and say no more.
Right.
And so what you're doing is you're creating a home, an environment, but you're also creating a system with women in a place together, apartments with a clubhouse, with a pool, with a gymnasium, to take care of themselves, but creating a place where they can connect and they cannot feel alone, because they need to feel safety and they need to reconnect with people, because there's so much isolation. And this begins, there's so many pieces of healing, and what I feel you're doing is creating something that is bigger than addressing the physical injury, or bigger than the sexual injury or the mental, but it's the whole.
Yes.
And I think it's wonderful what you're doing.
That is exactly what I'm doing. Anyway, Courtney, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me to be part of what you're doing. I'm happy to do anything I can to help.
Okay.